claimed that were forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the calculations.
While chief and the body politic should not participate in partisan politics.
Wakateka n'abakwata Egypto, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
To 19 hours, and we are live on GoTV channel 96, on Top Star channel 458, on Movie TV Decoder channel 43, and also live on our Facebook page, which is Elevation TV Zambia, and YouTube and Twitter RTV Zambia. And our topic this evening is our political party still objective, as well as youth participation in politics. Also touch a bit on the righteous invasion of truth campaign, which we'll get to know more details about it during the program. And you can send your SMSs to 0978 43 74 37, 0978 43 74 47. And my guest this evening, I've got on my immediate right, Pastor Peter Chanda, who's a new Congress Party president. And after Mr. Chanda here is Madam Somsukwa, who's the UPPZ deputy spokesperson, who's just here to help us understand and discuss the topics at hand this evening. And I'm your host, Lovely Kayombo. Welcome to the program, Mr. President.
Thank you, and good evening, viewers.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Mr. Msuka, welcome back to the Relation TV.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels like I spent the whole day here. Yeah, thank you, and good evening to the viewers.
Okay. I think I'll begin by reviewing how the year has been. I'll start with you, Mr. President, here. How do you look at the year 2018 in all aspects of our country's governance system and the economy as well?
Well, I want to state that the year 2018 has been quite challenging and good at the same time. We want to first and foremost commend His Excellency the President, Mr. Edgar Chegwalungu, that against all odds, he has maintained stability in the economic spheres of this country. You can precisely say that if you want to prove good governance, you need to see as to how the economy is managed and how stable it is, despite numerous challenges. This year has been challenging in the sense that it is the year in which we saw a vicious smearing campaign being launched by opposition political parties to scandalize the country both within and abroad. It is also a year where a lot of politicians have exhibited a lot of immaturity, I can suffice to say, in the way political engagements are done. And at the same time, it's a year that we have seen saddening situations where we have had a situation where we lost His Worship the Mayor of the city of Lusaka. We have lost 2 MPs. One, the Mangango MP, who died in a fatal accident. May his soul rest in peace, and may the soul of His Worship the Mayor rest in peace. We've also seen the death of the Sesheke MP, which has also warranted some by-elections, and another by-election will be held. So we want to state that it is a year that has been quite challenging, but at the same time, it is a year that has exposed certain political elements at the same time, whereby people of Zambia can be able now to say certain political products are not worth to be sold on the political shelves of this country.
Okay. Mr. Msukwa, as UPPZ, how do you look at the year 2018 aspects of the governance system as well as the economy? Also being a young politician, are the youth been given enough chance to explore themselves in this year 2018?
Thank you. I like to think about the economy of this country from the people's perspective. Ignore the statistics, ignore the facts about the dollar and things like that. Have the life of the Zambian people, have they become better, is the question that I ask myself. It's the question that my party asks this, we ask ourselves. And the real truth is that we live in an era that it is hard to live. We live in an era that opportunities and chances continue to happen to the same people. We live in an era where we don't know what the future holds. We live in an era of instability. So speaking as a Zambian person, because like I told you earlier in the day, as a UPPZ, we like to speak like the people, like a marketeer, like an orphan, like a teacher, like a nurse. So when you look at the plights and the challenges that many of these people are going through. I think 2018 has been a year of storm and a year of a lot of ups and downs. When you look at the other aspect of youth involvement, I don't know about youth involvement other than the one which is in UPPZ. When you look at all political parties, youth involvement is rhetoric. It is the youth is now, but what is being done is something else. So when you look at a lot of things a lot of questions that you've asked, 2018 has been a year that the Zambian people have seen that the only party that is able to give the Zambian people a youthful nature in leadership is my political party. That is why at the age of the 24, I was the youngest candidate in the mayoral elections, which I came out fifth. At the age of 25, I'm a spokesperson of my political party. So basically, for us, when you ask me questions of how are things going and how are things happening, I like to be very practical, and I like to be very I like people to know that this is the stance. So basically 2018, from a Zambian people, from my side, from a layman Zambian like me, I think 2018 has been tough. I think 2018 has been a year that we'll look forward to 2019 and say things should be better.
Okay. Mr. President, you mentioned something about the smearing campaign, which you said has exposed certain political party leaders in this country. And should be a week or 2 weeks ago, you are launching the righteous invasion of truth, which you said is going to be launched again next early January 2019. Maybe before we go down to our topic for tonight, maybe building on what you said, the smearing campaign, which has exposed certain political party leaders, vis-a-vis the riot campaign. Maybe try to shed a bit more about this before we go to our main topic, which is a political party still objective in this country.
Well, suffice it said, as New Congress Party, we've embarked on a program arising from the fact that we have seen what has been happening and in the country, where politicians would raise up and speak ill about their own country and speak issues that border on lies. We have seen a situation where it has become like a common phenomenon for a politician to lie about certain things without having the actual facts as to what is prevailing and what is obtaining on the ground. First and foremost, we have seen situations that political elements, like some of them, one of the most top-notch lie is where somebody goes on Sunny FM and says Zafiko has been sold. You see, and you people are quiet. And soon after that statement, there is a riot in Kitwe. The people from Kotubishi, they do what they riot and destabilize one Chinese national's goods and assets in the shop. That careless statement poses a lot of questions, as would we want to see a situation where the country degenerates into anarchy, or because somebody wants to gain political mileage. First and foremost, I come from a school of thought where we believe that the truth is the basic foundation for any stronger nation or stronger community or even stronger relationship. Let me say this: if you are proposing a lady and you lie to her that you are a don, you understand, you are a don and you've got 3 cars, meanwhile you've just borrowed the car that you used to go and see her, sooner or later the person discovers that whatever you are saying was a lie. You understand? Is that person going to have confidence in you? Now, we saw a situation where this same political leader issues that statement, and after that realizes to say, no, whatever statement I stated, it bordered on a case of inciting violence, and it's against the laws of this country according to the Penal Code and the laws of this country. Then he is brought on another forum of a media to say, no, you said this. Can you precisely state what you said and give us the facts? Do you have the facts that this has been sold? And this person says, no, I did not incite anybody. And he insists to say, I did not incite anybody, running away from the question. After that, we have these cadres insulting those two ladies. It should be able to tell you that there is this particular culture that has been built, and this culture is the culture of lies. Now, this has not started now. We saw a vicious smearing campaign where certain political elements would go out of the country and scandalize the judiciary. They go to South Africa and talked about the Zambian judiciary is corrupt and all those things. And this is the same judiciary that delivered a particular judgment in their favor. If you look at the Stephen Katuka judgment, where Stephen Katuka, under a particular, the same political party, sued for the ministers' allowances to be penalized. The ministers were penalized to say they have to pay back their issues, and there was celebration. So immediately there's something opposite happens. When a judgment happens in a particular way, then the Zambian judiciary is painted black. Now, as New Congress Party, we stand on a position of redefining the art of politics. That is our goal, to redefine the art of politics in this country. If you are talking about poverty, you need to highlight as to what levels or what situation have caused a poverty situation in a particular country. I gave an example, you were there, I'm sure you aired it, and the Zambian people were able to hear as to how I developed from the age of 14. I was in grade 5. I had no support. You understand? I had no support, but what did I do? Did I sit down? I rose up and began to do something. And what I began to do at the age of 14 sustained my family. I began to pay rent for my mother, sustained my family, and to the level where I educated myself up to secondary, from grade 5, secondary school, until Bible college. I was doing small businesses and doing whatever. So politicians need to own up and speak the truth. If we have a lot of children that are seated on the street doing nothing, they are busy just drinking in the bars. You understand? And here we have a council that is busy pursuing and arresting vendors. That becomes a situation that a politician should be able to speak to, say, look, you worship the mayor instead of targeting your energy towards the street vendors that are trying to create an initiative for themselves. Target those people that are getting into the bars, drinking from morning up to sunset. Now, what I'm saying is this: politicians in this country, they've dubbed lying as a certificate that can usher them into state house. Okay. Generally, the economy of this country is not on its knees. We have heard the international organizations have come into this country. We've seen the continuous support that is coming from the donor community despite the smearing campaign. And what we are calling the Zambian people to do is this: if somebody comes on the podium and tells you to say Zafiko is sold, the same question that the two gallant women in Talemwanza and Hope gave to a particular political leader is the same question that you should ask the same person that tells you such an asset is sold. You need to push them to state to say, look, give us the evidence that it is sold. Because for an asset to be sold, it takes the company responsible to make a pronouncement to say, look, our company is going through a recession, we need capitalization. Then they write to IDC, which is the main body that is overseeing all parastatal companies in this country. All the shares of parastatal companies in this country are transferred to Industrial Development Corporation. The Industrial Development Corporation now will be able to do, a letter to the ministry responsible. I think this company requires capitalization, and we need the government to look into this, or sell some of the shares, or maybe privatize it for it to remain viable. You understand? When such a recommendation is made to the minister responsible, the minister raises a statutory instrument, and that statutory instrument passes through Parliament, Cabinet approves, it goes through Parliament, and Parliament rectifies it, then a public asset is sold. No pronouncement of a politician should be able to render any given institution of this country sold. Secondly, we saw in this year a smearing campaign at the highest level, where a Chinese lady reading a news bulletin on a TV, and it was captured on a particular media broadcasting media in this country, where they were comparing a 26 miles road to a 300 and something kilometer Ndola Lusaka Dio carriageway. And I have stated, as New Congress Party, we are not going to sit down and watch. It is for this reason that we announced the partial launch of, we have the official launch next month of the Righteous Invasion of Truth, whereby if anybody issues a statement in regard to a particular institution, first and foremost, we have studied the rights that we have as citizens of this country. You know that, Kayombo, you have the power to arrest somebody as a citizen. If somebody is misleading the nation, like I stated, it took one careless statement that caused the Rwandan genocide. You see, so if politicians are going to think that just because I'm a politician, then I can lie about certain things, no. We need to rise to the occasion and teach the Zambian people. This is the more reason why, as New Congress Party, we stand on the 4 pillars, and that is promoting peace, unity, stability, and productivity. Unless there is unity, unless there is peace, unless there is stability in the way we manage our political engagement, even in our country, you cannot speak ill about a lady that you want to marry.
Okay. Now, Mr. Msukwa, maybe you have anything to respond to what you said. In your preamble, you mentioned about UPPZ being the only party in Zambia which has embraced young people in their structures. Do you think, the current government has that maybe a political will to accommodate young people in the governance system of the country, as well as also political parties playing their role in ensuring that the ratio of youth engagement is achieved?
An issue of youth participation it's will. It's got no mathematics. It's got no. There's no chemistry. If the ruling government will want to embrace the youth, they can. Okay. But I was in Kawe yesterday at a youth forum, and one of the PF officials told me that the only problem is that in our government, people get adopted based on rewards. Who is next in line? Who's been there for a long time? So meaning that when you look at that structure, it leaves the youth completely outside. So the real truth is that I don't see the ruling government embracing the youth. I don't see other political parties embracing the youth, because there's a stereotype that the youth are the future leaders and things like that. Then coming to the question of opposition political parties and their effectiveness or their role, or are they living up to the challenge? I think the real question is what are political parties speaking? What are the real issues that they bring out? Because in any country, the major stakeholders are the people. So the issue of always going to court and always delegating who's wrong or who's right, or always saying that statement was careless or that statement should not have been done, I think then we're missing the point as political parties. Because the real work of a political party is to be a government elect. A government elect is an institution that goes back to the people and tells them that, you know what, these people have failed in this capacity, and we are telling you that when we become government, we shall provide such a thing. I can give an example. In my political party, UPPZ, we've got a back to school campaign free of charge. This is a campaign that is not political. It cuts across political parties. Everybody's allowed to enroll. People. So basically, what we're trying to say is that the government cannot rather accommodate everybody, because we've seen that there's like at the University of Zambia, when there's a certain number of people who will be enrolled at a particular time. So institutions do not allow for everybody to be accommodated. So as an opposition, what do? We offer an alternative. It is not enough to say Boma has failed. Boma has failed. It is not enough to say the other opposition leader has said this about this. It is not enough. Actually, it is the least part of the equation that opposition should do. Checks and balances of rhetoric is at the bottom of opposition. What the opposition should do. Real opposition is what can you do, or what are you doing today. That is why I'm against this thing that a lot politicians, because I'm not a politician, I'm a leader. A lot of politicians say, when I become, when I win. What if you never win? That is why I'm a number. That is why this thing of imagining manifestos, or rather giving manifestos to people, that is far-fetched. This is where it comes from. Because we have been used to politicians saying, when I win, when I win. But why isn't opposition saying, what we are doing today is this, as an alternative for what what the government should be doing? Everybody knows that the UPPZ has empowered over 20,000 of people with land in Lusaka, in a place where the government declared there's no land. But we are doing it. We're not waiting for 2021 when we form government to say this is what we are going to do. If we can do it today, we'll do it. We've launched the giving seed to rural Zambia. We are doing it today because we've realized that there's poverty in the rural areas. We roofed a school in the Eastern Province. My president, Charlton, roofed a school in Eastern Province, donated desks right in Mangango there. So this is real opposition. When we say youth participation, it is a youth like me, 24 years old, straight from the University of Zambia, being thrown into the ballot box. That is real opposition, not this opposition that I'm seeing or that we are witnessing for always saying, what is 14 days? Who is he eligible? Is he not eligible? Things like that. That is, I think it's the politicians, it's the political rhetoric that politicians try to hide, because I think that most political opposition parties try to remain relevant by speaking louder in terms of Achitachan Muzatu, Achitachan, or what has not happened or what has happened. But I think that should be a story of tomorrow. That is why I was surprised that after the Concord declared Edgar Lungu, His Excellency Edgar Lungu, eligible to stand in 2021. There was jubilation, there was a statement by the PF, and it's now time for us to work. Things like, I think those are things that should not even be there. Judicial, or rather institutions, should work separately from development. The development is the people. There should not be effort to be getting statements from a court or statements from opposition or political parties when the real issue is that people are hungry. People walk from constitution to the next constitution to just access school. Kanyama has got over 23,000 people with only 206 water kiosks. Those are real issues. Street vendors have been left to languish without an alternative. Those are real issues. Issues of the council workers not being paid. Those are real issues. Issues of Vespers and UNZA student who was killed by police brutality. Those are real issues. Political interference in unions. Those are real issues. So I get surprised when I hear opposition parties are siding and saying, no, this and that, this one has said this, because that is fake opposition. Real opposition is going back to the people and saying, the institutions have failed us. We are telling you that this is what we can do today. People power. Go back to the people. Go back, because it is the people who can change government. It is the people who can offer, who can literally say, okay, enough is enough. What you are saying is true. What you're offering us is better. And we are tired of this uncomfortable situation. And we want to come out. That is where opposition should be. So, opposition for me has lost its salt. It is salt that cannot salt relish. And I think a lot of opposition should emulate from UPPZ, because we're a political party. That's not a talk at all. We don't talk, we like to walk the act.
Okay. Mr. President, there's been some concerns by even the PFSG to say that the opposition focused more on what government is not doing. In your own opinion, do you think the PF government has delivered according to what they promised from 2011, the formed government, up to the time that His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagurungu became president in 2015 and was re-elected again in 2016? Do you think they have done according to what they promised the people of Zambia, and vis-a-vis what is being portrayed out there? Like maybe you said there's been a smearing campaign to portray that the country is ungovernable and all sorts of things. Now, has the PF done according to what they promised, according to NCP?
Well, as New Congress Party, we believe that the objectivity is very cardinal in the way you engage yourself politically. Secondly, we want to put on record the facts that every Zambian people can be able, every Zambian person can be able to know. I've been in South Africa, and if you go by the South African development, you will be able to meet one plaster that says road infrastructure, the key to national prosperity. In terms of massive infrastructure development, I think there is no area that is not touched in this country by the Patriotic Front. Secondly, the concept that is being highlighted even by my brother here, I fail to understand which world is living in. To say no, people are suffering and there is poverty. Yes, you cannot erase poverty completely, because poverty is a state of mind. If you and me choose to be poor, you will be poor. But if you decide today to say, I want to make it, you can make it. So first and foremost, we want to look at what has been done in terms of empowering the people. You don't expect a government or any government to begin to give out handouts to people. You understand? Every government has a responsibility to create a level playing field, to create infrastructures that will make the people access goods and services and go about their businesses. I gave one example. If you go to City Market and Soweto Market today, it has been a transformed area. I have been a pastor for the past 23 years. The things that my brother is talking about, that he's president, they've roofed a school, they've done what? I have done that in my capacity as a pastor. I've built schools, I've built clinics. If I take you, go to Chongwe, go to Rimba area, you're going to find what I have done in my capacity as a pastor and the founder and president of a ministry. You understand? So I want to state one thing. The records on fact is that, first and foremost, let's look at the road infrastructure development that has been done. Kanyama today is not the Kanyama that you saw many years ago. And my church, I planted the first church I planted it at Soweto Market. And I pastored it. I used to move in the mud for many years. Today, as I am saying, if you go in that road, just one simple example, look at the jobs that have been created by businesses that were aligned in that road that is just right behind City Market. There's a road that passes which connects from Mumbwa Road into City Market, behind City Market. You will see here there is Rubona meat products. There is another meat product company. There is also a farmer's whatever. Those businesses, that area was dormant in terms of business activities. No property was operating because the place used to be heavily mud. And I was giving an example. If you talk about the more money in the pocket policy of the Patriotic Front, it has been met with the road infrastructure. Because look, if I was using a road that was in a bad state and I own a vehicle, I can give one example. Even me, the road that led to my home, it was in a terrible state, but now it is better. I used to change CV joints after 3 months or after 4 months. I have to change my CV joints. Today, I'm not able to do that. I'm able to do that maybe after 9 months or after a year. You understand? That is an empowerment to the people. So people need to understand that there is no area in this country where there is no activity happening under the Patriotic Front. And in politics, you need to be sincere if you are going to get to the seat that you want to get. Because if you are lying to the people to say in Kanyama there are only 260 water kiosks, first and foremost, look at the facts on the ground. What is happening within the Kanyama area? I tour around that area almost every day. You understand? Right now, there is a massive water rectification project that is going on. If you go by Rumumba Road, my brother maybe can go and consult those people, Dennis, who are doing the whatever, to say, why have you closed the half part of the road? It is the water rectification project that is going on, being done by Lusaka Water and Storage, to ensure that Kanyama area has got. Today, look at the hard-working lady who is the Kanyama MP today. Look at the Kanyama police post and how it has been transformed. All the roads, if you go, there is a road that leads from Basera going up to Mtandawantu within Kanyama. Today it is started. That road was bad. I can tell you, for many years it has been bad. Today there is tarmac. The people of Kanyama can move majestically because their government has looked at them. There are few areas that we can be able to talk about. If we can talk about the school, there are problems where the settlements of the people, you know, people wanted land and people occupied land. You understand? They did not give room for the schools. One thing that I can be able to say, which you cannot find in Kanyama, is a lot of government schools. Why? Because people settled in there on their own. You understand? And then later government legalized. I wonder if the 20,000 empowerment that they've done, if they've given that land free, that is talking about that Mr. Charles and their party, they've empowered people and all those things. And secondly, what considerations has been done in terms of school infrastructures and all those. So those I can be able to say, realistically speaking, there are no more schools that have been built within Kanyama area within this period, but there are schools that were built under the MMT government. You understand? And it is owing to the fact that there is no space, because people wanted land and people occupied land. And if schools infrastructures have to be done, the simple advice that you give to a government that is working is to say, look, consider certain areas to designate them for schools and compensate certain people, demolish those houses, give them land elsewhere and build for them, and then build schools. That is an alternative that can be able to work now. But in regards to the water thing within the Kanyama area, that is being done. I'm seeing it with my eyes. You understand? That is being done right now to ensure that all areas have water running water coming from Kafiwa. It is being connected right Parumba, where the water connection center that is there in town for Lusaka Water and Storage. So we need to verify with facts as we are talking about the poverty issues, as we are talking about a number of issues. As New Congress Party, we have chosen one way, and that is objective kind of politics, unlike subjective ones. Okay. You know, there is a lot, like, let me underscore one point. One point that I can be able to underscore is this. If you are saying something as a politician, people take it as a gospel truth. So my brother cannot come here and is coming from a political party and say, I'm not a politician. That is what one element within the political scene has stated, and today look at the mistakes that he makes in terms of statements. Because he refused, he said, I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. You understand? What we are talking about, people are looking for credible and responsible political leadership that draws on facts. You understand? That draws on fact. The fact is, a careless statement from the mouth of a politician can put the country on fire.
Okay.
And this is what we are standing on as NCP. It's a righteous invasion of truth. If one is raising up to talk about what is happening in Kanyama, we will go on the ground in Kanyama and be able to state, you understand, to say this is what is happening on Kanyama. And okay. I'll be taking you on board to say, okay, look, this is what they are doing, this is what they are doing, okay, to ensure that the water rectification. So talk about other things.
Okay. So maybe you have something also to add before I go to the next question.
You see, I would advise political parties to participate in elections. Maybe they will know the country better. Because our opposition political parties now, they just know writing statements and this and that. Politics is about participation. It is when you know Zambia. I'm from Mangango. So when I hear statements like there's development, eco development in Zambia, people are not suffering, from political parties that don't even participate in elections, I wonder who they stand for. So basically, I do not even want to, I stood for mayor of Lusaka, so I know the corners of Lusaka, because I stood. I was mandated to know Lusaka. I am mandated to know Lusaka. I was readopted as shadow mayor of 2021 by my political party. That is why we are saying the youth need to be participating in leadership, because I think our fathers they're not being effective. Okay. Because the real truth is that there's hunger. There's hunger. I'm from Western Province. I was from Mangango, Kaoma. So I know what I'm talking about. The president, the road that he used, they had to mend it a day before he came, because he had never been there. These are things that are there. When you look at development in Southern Province, when you look at development in Western Province, can you compare it to development in Lusaka? Can you compare it to development in Eastern Province? So basically, you need to move, you need to participate in elections to know what is going on. So I know that it is not about the projects that are withstanding with the government. It is what is there. In Kanyama, there's no water currently. Whether there's a plan to put water, whether there's a plan to not put water, currently in Kanyama, the people do not have water. People wake up, people call me. I'm their mayor there. People call me, they know me. They say that we wake up at 04 hours and we find that we go to Soweto, We come back 17 hours, the water kiosks are closed. These are things that a lot of people not know because they are not in active politics. They're in active rhetoric. They're in active talk. So basically, I'm not a person who side with the wrong thing, and I'm not a person who's apologetic when the people are suffering. The real truth is that the PF said lower taxes. Just recently, the fuels went up. Just recently, they increased they put taxes on tourism. There's a new taxes every day. So when I'm actually surprised that I heard something like more money in your pocket can be aligned to the road network, meaning that somehow it meant that is one of the ways, or I don't know, basically. But the youth who I represent, who are 66% between 0 and 24, the 85% of this population, who the older generation do not even know, don't have jobs. I'm from the University of Zambia. You can ask me how many people are enrolled into the society of work on a yearly basis, and I'll tell you, half or more than half of the school of education, not even 5% of the people who graduated from school of education were enrolled to be teachers. So I get amused when people say things are okay, or the youth are being given opportunities, or things like that. When you look at the land empowerment that we've given to the Zambians, youth have benefited. I was a beneficiary of free land when I was at the University of Zambia. It was a project. I had a project. I presented it to the UPPZ, and I was given free land without this business or things like that. So basically, our opposition political parties, they've gone into the system of being opposition, where you have to sideline to be either opposing to what has already been known, or siding with a political party. I cannot even tell the difference if I'm in the studio of where there's PF or there's no PF, because all I'm hearing is what the PF have done, what the PF have done. Tell me something that the people are going through out there. There's no objectivity. The people out there, I've given an example. In Mangango, there is no, you can imagine, not even an ATM in Mangango. And Mangango Central is like the happening area. There's no development in any case. Half of 90% of Zambia live where there's no TV. So when you say that there's development or there's statistics and I don't understand, because I live in an area where, number one, the youth are being told they don't have experience, they cannot be given employment. The marketeers, when they go on the streets, they're being called street vendors. When you go to Southern Province, just after a toll gate, you find potholes. When you go to is it Zambezi, that side, you have to go with a boat just to reach certain people. So basically, I live in a Zambia where there's so much that needs to be done as compared to what has been done. And when you look at the promises of the government, the real truth is that they are not, we can say that they are probably 3 out of 10 from what they promised. And the real truth is that they can do better. And we shall, as UPPZ, we shall continue to stress the fact that they can do better. And apart from saying they can do better, we shall be a light that people can see and say, okay, the UPPZ has empowered people with land. Has the government done it? No. Okay. So it means that the government has got the capacity to empower people with land. Okay. The UPPZ has introduced a back-to-school campaign free of charge. So it means that the government is capable. By the way, Edgar Lungu himself did not even pay a single dime at the University of Zambia. It was a policy. If you do well, you get accepted free of charge. So the capacity is there. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. When I was in Kawe, I was told of a story that when the president went, this is someone who's in PF, he said it to all of us, when they went to China, there was the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Minerals, and things like that. And the Chinese man called them, no, you're from Zambia, come. He opened the door and showed them a warehouse of gold, cobalt, and several minerals. And this is not to my hips, like from here up to maybe Chris Corner, that side. He said, oh, this cobalt is from Zambia. Against how much money has come in Zambia, Nobody knew. He said the president was shocked. The minister was shocked. Even I myself was shocked that certain things are happening in Zambia under our noses. So when people say that things are okay, things are happening, even people who are in power are shocked. So there's much that opposition can do. It's not about always saying, trying to look like you are the perfect or you are the people who know what things are going on. Let us be real. I'm unapologetic about it.
Okay.
I think people should emulate.
Okay. You're still watching The Society, which comes to you live on Liberation TV every Wednesday between 18 and 19 hours, and live on Go TV, Top Star Movie TV, as well as on our Facebook page, Liberation TV Zambia. And my guests are Pastor Peter Chanda, who's the president for New Congress Party, and also Madam Somsukwa, the UPP's deputy spokesperson. And our topic this evening is political parties are still objective. And the line to use to send SMSs is at 0978 43 74 37, 1978 43 43 74 37. I think in one of my inbox, Mr. President, there's the issue of the Concord judgment and this outcry from the opposition political parties regarding the judgment. And so I think what is coming out is why do you think there's this outcry from the opposition political parties that made to stop the President Edgar Lungu which is in 2021, and yet the court have ruled in favor that is eligible to stand in the 2021 general election? Why do you think there's this outcry from especially the UPND and the other 9 allies that made to unite and ensure that they unseat the president in 2021?
First and foremost, what I can be able to state is that, number one, the opposition political parties in this country, and there is one thing that I can be able to underscore as a matter of clarity.
Okay.
We did not participate in the last election. We stood and we are in alliance with the Patriotic Front. So just to put record straight in regards to where we stand. My brother is talking about having gone to this country and having participated in the whatever. As New Congress Party, we are very active and arrived to the fact. It's one thing to participate in the election and become relevant, and it's another thing to participate in the election and become totally irrelevant. Secondly, politicians need to become objective. Why do you think the politicians are jittery? Because they know, one of the facts is that they know that standing up with President Edgar Lungu in 2021 is a far-fetched dream of anybody becoming a president of the Republic of Zambia, regardless of what they are saying and what they are doing. This man has really walked the talk. If you look at the situation, I for one cannot run away from the fact that I stand up to defend the policies that I told the Zambian people. It's a matter of objective, it's a matter of duty to the nation. Because in the last year's election, I did not stand, but I went around campaigning for President Lungu across the country. There is no area in this country that I have not touched. There is no area in this country that I have not been to. You understand? And I am alive to the fact of whatever is prevailing on the ground elsewhere. You understand? Elsewhere. Why? The first question that I will be able to ask first my colleague who is just here is, why is it that on all the by-elections that have happened, PF has scooped more seats? It's because of the confidence and the trust that the people have in the Patriotic Front government. It is because of how people are perceiving the delivery of goods and services by the Patriotic Front government. Because if you are coming to say a statement to say there is nothing happening, people are suffering in this world, that's a sweeping statement. So one, no matter the level of education one has had, but making a sweeping statement where you generalize that the Patriotic Front is doing nothing, you're not being alive to the fact on the ground. Secondly, why are the opposition trying now to fight to even to an extent where they want to begin to break the same constitution that they stood and assented to? Let's go back to the 2016 elections. The UPND is on record of having said, if President Lungu does not win, he will lose. When we form government, we are not going to give him any entitlement. He is not entitled to anything because he did not save the tenure of office according to the constitution. He served less than 3 years. That was that kind of Chilema. It is on record. You are a media personnel. You need to bring that on record. They stated that was the time. So when you look at President Lungu's tenure of office, 1 year, 6 months, from January 20 to August 2016, January 2015 to August 2016, that was only about 1 year, 6 months. Michael Sata was in office for 1 year and 1 month by the time he died. Or 3 years and 1 month by the time he died. So the Zambian people need to be told the facts. You can highlight on where the government is not doing fine. You can be able to state, that's the way you do things. That's why when you read, some of us that have read the Bible, we are alive to the fact of what God even stated in the book of Revelation. God gives us a guide as to how we need to engage. When he was giving a message to the 7 churches, he would come and the Lord will even speak to say, I know the works that you have done. I know what you have done. I know how steadfastly you have stood in faith. But, you understand? That's the way to go. This is politics. Politics should be based on facts. There is no way you can be able to say, generally to say the people of Kanyama are suffering. First and foremost, what do you think that government should do? You understand? To feed everyone. Is that the duty of government? No. The duty of government is to create a level playing field. This is what we can be able to state as the fact. What are some of the amenities that are required to be done? The fact of the street vendors is something that I've even highlighted. Now, let me come to these opposition political parties that are fighting tooth and nail. First and foremost, the constitution of the Republic of Zambia that we have today was debated. There was a technical committee that was put up, not to go to the past. There was a technical committee that was put up by the late Michael Sata. The technical committee finished its work, drafted the constitution, you understand, and surrendered it to the Minister of Justice, then Winter Kazumba, the Rainbow Party leader. When they presented that document was shelved, you understand, and there was an outcry. It became a political capital for the opposition political parties. Bring out the constitution, bring out the what? There was a chain of event. As soon as President Lungu became Minister of Justice, he produced the document, you understand, and presented it to the general public and to Parliament. Whilst Michael Sata was still president, soon after the late President Michael Sata died, President Edgar Chagwarungu was on course. That document was debated in Parliament. That Parliament is predominantly, you understand, is predominantly at the moment, predominantly governed by the 2 political parties. That is the Patriotic Front as well as the UPND. They have the majority. MMD has got only 3 MPs. FDD has got 1 MP. And some of the politicians that are here with me, they do not have even a councillor. You understand? Now, let me be able to state this. That sitting of Parliament debated the motion on the table, approved it, and took it to President Edgar Chagwarungu for ascension. He even asked them, can I assent to it? Are you done? And they said, well and good. It was led by Ngosa Sibiakula as Justice Minister. The President, a calf ceremony was hosted, and the Constitution was assented to, and there was celebration. Within that Constitution, the clause that are contentious, the 3 years as a threshold for a tenure of office for the President was enacted. And the members of Parliament were there. As we were going towards the election, those are some of the messages that we are contending with, coming from the UPND and these others. We will not even give him any retirement package because he is not eligible to get any retirement package. He did not serve a term of office. It was less than 3 years. You understand? They're on record. What happened? We stood and campaigned. We swallowed our pride. It is not an issue of participating in an election. I have come from a school of thought where they say preparation must meet opportunity in order for success to be done. When MMD decided that it is time for the movement for multi-party democracy, for democracy in the country, what happened? There was a movement and MMD formed government. When Michael Sata formed, he was resilient. He was objective in his criticism towards government. Unlike the subjective nature of politics that we are observing today, where politicians, if anything does not work in their favor, then the government is on the wrong side. Then the constitutional court is whatever. Now, this same politician, the constitution was assented to. Today, we can be able to state that there was a Stephen Katuka judgment which was passed. They took, with their brains and their brilliant lawyers, debated the matter, and the constitutional court gave them the verdict to say ministers must pay back. They were ordered by the constitutional court judges to pay back the money. There was celebration on the opposition camp. We took the eligibility case because there was an uprising. No, so when you talk about in terms of being responsible and patriotic towards the nation, so I don't care what somebody says to say no, there are certain opposition, but what I can be able to say that I move as a proud Zambian, and I'm sure even my vice president is there, he can be able to state, I move as a proud Zambian because one thing that I have done is something that other politicians that are rhetoricing in the country have never done. Because there was a rising tension in the country when the eligibility issues, when it was confirmed from the Patriotic Front soon after the 2016 election that President Lungu is eligible and is so candidate for 2021. You understand? There was almost a rising tension in the country, and we came together, 4 opposition political parties, took responsibility. We took the matter on the shoulders. We did not do that at the instructions of the president or anybody. It was simply our own baby. We went and sat down with our lawyer, Robson Mapenga, and Robson Mapenga, we brainstormed issues and stated to say, okay, these are some of the issues that we want. We want to take this matter to court so that there can be peace, because the Zambian people need to know the way. Okay. If you are talking about something, go to the ground. You will invite you after tomorrow. We need to go through Kanyama and see if what, because here this is a society. The Zambian people are watching. If what my brother is saying is a true about Kanyama, let it be seen after tomorrow. You understand? If what I'm saying, and actually you're not even accompanying me, you are even wrong to bring me. You are supposed to bring the spokesperson or the deputy spokesperson who is equal to him. You understand? What I can be able to state is that politics must be about the truth. So I'm now directing the spokesperson. You have to move with your counterpart in Kanyama to see what I'm saying, if it is a lie, that there is a water recreation project that is being done. You understand? Because he's saying I'm the mayor of the people of Kanyama. Let me tell you, I've worked with the people of Kanyama. I understand. My friend. So I know if somebody is talking about things from the whatever, I know that okay, you want to arrange things from the surface. Okay. You understand? So politics should be about facts. Facts are the ones that we need. If you are talking about we are strong on the ground, I cannot participate in an election when I know that I'm going to lose. It's a sheer waste of money and time. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you don't even have a structure in a particular level. I was in Kasenengwa doing the campaigns. There was no single structure. But somebody comes up to say, no, the elections have been stolen and we are going to petition. Let me state this. You need to be strong on the ground. And I want to state, we've been in existence for about 14 years. We are not a new political party. But I can be able to tell you that people should watch the space. We have a massive crowd that follow New Congress Party. We have a lot of membership, and we've told our members it is not time to show up, because this time there is no wind of change. You need to be cunning and reading as a leader. You need to be as wise as the sons of Issachar who reads the time and understand the time. You know, when the time is right for a revolution of change, the Zambian people will be able to know, just like it was regardless of the wind, regardless of whatever Rupia Band and this government did, the people were saying don't Kubeba. Today, the Zambian people have not spoken for a change.
I also to make your reactions within the time that has been given to us.
Like I said, politics actually. I'm surprised that he said that you don't stand because you know you will lose. That's not politics actually. And this is one thing that I've noticed from them politicians. Politics for them is who's number one and who's number two. They forget that politics, the winner is democracy. There's no number one, there's no number two. This is why I'm saying the youth, with our fresh minds, it's the right time that we begin to do these things. And secondly, you see, it is tough for the PF to appear on these seats because they can't answer. That is why they send their extensions to sit. And they sound like they don't know what they're talking about. Because these are the things that I've been saying. Zambia is not, it might not be on its knees. I don't know what that statement means, but Zambian people are suffering. The majority of Zambians, like I've said, live without electricity. The majority of Zambians, when you go to Western Province, they don't know what sugar is. They don't know that there's actually something that you can call this and this. These are things that we're fortunate people of Lusaka to have. When I say that there's no water in Kanyama, there's no water today in Kanyama, regardless of what is being done about it, regardless in what is in the 2030 development plan, regardless of what is in any document. Today, go to Baoleni, Kabanana, go to Misisi, there's no water. That's the reality. Go to Mtendere. There were tanks that were put, but some have been withdrawn. The reason why I can speak like this is because I've participated in an election. And that is what opposition political parties should make a habit about, is to participate. That is the only way that people are going to tell you the real truth. This thing of saying, I've campaigned, everybody has campaigned. That is why you hear everybody saying, in Ndine Chairman, every time you go to campaign, no, Ndine Chairman, what this and this, I've made this president win and this. Because everybody can campaign. But campaigning is not development. Campaigning is not knowing the needs of the people. Knowing the needs of the people is being active in politics, being active in leadership, and being genuine in checks and balances. I represent 85% of this country's population, as I sit today, a youth. So basically, I've got the right to sit with any politician because the youth, we've got the capacity to put and remove a government. So basically, for me, I think that I've got no equal in terms of people who back me up, because the Zambian people are the people who are crying. The Zambian people are the people who want real things to happen. So for me, when I hear things like there's no wind of change, I don't know who detects the wind of change, because wind of change is not detected by human beings, it's by God. And I'm disappointed that people can forget that God is one who appoints leaders. So what will happen in 2021, only God knows. And that is the reality. But the other reality is that 2021 will be peculiar. We saw it in 2011. MMD won all or almost all their by-elections. And everybody was saying, Nikolopa, they're going to finish it up. But the reality is that Michael Chilofia Sata scooped the election. So in closing, I think that opposition has lost its salt, like I've seen. How can you be in opposition but be in a pact with the ruling government and campaigning for them and calling yourself opposition? Because to be in opposition, it comes from the word oppose. So basically, these are things that are reality. So in all fairness, I think that certain political parties, I think, I'm tempted to say, National Congress Party has lost salt, if it ever had salt, because the real opposition, the real truth about the matter is that we need to be objective. We need to be in a situation that our opposition talks as the people. He's not stated any single problem, not even in Lusaka, where we see problems. So for me, I'm very disappointed.
Okay, now due to time, also run into another program at 19.
But one point that we need to clear is that we are not registered as opposition political parties. We are registered as political parties.
Okay.
So there is nothing like opposition. It's one concept that has been just built.
Thank you.
To say you are an opposition. So we are political parties.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So the concept of opposition is coming from the time, not at the register of society.
All right. Thank you for watching the society, and see you next week on the same station. It has been lovely. God bless you. Bye bye.